My beloved, do you think it's an accident that you're hearing my voice right now? No. Heaven planned this moment long before you took your first breath. Here on Holy Voices, we share the whispers of eternity, the messages that change hearts and awaken destinies. If your soul is ready, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might be the very word your spirit has been waiting for. Every subscription is a yes to faith. Help us reach 40,000 by pressing subscribe, liking, and leaving your amen below. Now that you've chosen one, let's demonstrate how to do it. Because the universe is going to reveal something so shocking that you should prepare your face immediately. By properly ready, I mean. Because when you wake up to what's about to happen, you'll fall out of bed because of the enormity of what happens while you're sleeping, believing you're simply getting some rest, but in reality, you're about to wake up to the most significant plot twist of your life. You'll be blown away by the response if you can tell me what season it is. With a pace that defies any timescale you believe to be reasonable, everything you have been working toward, manifesting, and developing with blood, sweat, and tears is about to crystallize into physical reality. You won't get your biggest paycheck in a long time. It's coming now, and you won't be able to describe its enormity. Every restless night, every rejection that seemed like a dagger to the breast, and every instance in which you stood by yourself when people doubted your sanity created the foundation. The foundation you've built with sheer willpower is soon to be supported by something so strong that your previous hardships will appear to have been vital training all along. Although there will be a significant shock, the recognition will be more profound. Ever since you made the decision to quit playing tiny, this moment has been unavoidable. The foundation for this breakthrough has been laid by you. You were prepared for the feast while others were content to settle for scraps and mediocrity. You were constructing the framework to manage excess, while they were embracing restrictions as unchangeable circumstances. Neither skill nor good fortune made the difference. Even when winning the title seemed unattainable, it was the determination to follow the example set by victors. The impending blindside will strike with such intensity that the logical mind will find it difficult to comprehend blessings that surpass its calculated forecasts. This is about waking up to unprecedented wealth, to opportunities that completely transform your life, to acceptance that validates every risk you have ever taken. You will be free of the financial bonds that have held you back for years in a matter of days thanks to the bank account testimony that will be provided. You haven't merely wanted this, you've earned it by earning it. The perseverance you've grown, the insight you've gained, and the character you've cultivated through hardships that would have crushed weaker people. These characteristics have produced a container that can withstand impending events without killing everything in its path. There's been an unexplained attraction between animals and you. Kids perceive something in you that adults can no longer identify. Conversations between random strangers end up turning into discoveries or admissions. It's not a coincidence. They are proof that something significant has been waiting to come through you, that your energy signature has been changing, and that your frequency has been changing. The evidence is so strong that even your most critical inner critic will have to admit the truth, permanently silencing the imposter syndrome that has been whispering poison in your ear. You have always been the caretaker of this garden. Your ancestry has always had this DNA of excellence. And your name is inscribed on these blessings that are going to come to pass in characters so big that it is difficult to deny them. Like a butterfly battling its way out of a cocoon, your true self has been slowly but surely making its way out of the cage of other people's expectations. For those who make money off of your narrow-mindedness, the mask is coming off and what lies beneath is terrible. They're frantically trying to stay relevant in a world where you no longer crave their approval after witnessing you shed your restrictions like old skin. The uncertainty that unnerves other people. The untamed energy that defies control. The way you take circumstances and turn them to your advantage. These are not defects that need to be fixed. These are the very characteristics that identify you as unique, selected, and meant for greatness. You have been the siren whose cries inspire others to reach their full potential. The cosmic truth serum makes people face the aspects of themselves they have been avoiding. Now that you finally understand what you're defending, standing up for yourself has become instinctive. The lines you have drawn are not walls. They serve as quality control procedures, guaranteeing that only opportunities and individuals deserving of your attention are granted entrance to your area. Despite pressure to reduce your expectations, you have been setting yourself up for connections that align with your higher frequency. You have been prepared by the roller coaster of existential crises and identity changes. For the instant you realize why the road had to be so difficult. You are developing the kind of resilience that can withstand what comes next with each loop, drop, and moment when you thought you would not make it through the ride. Confusion is coming to a stop, and the clarity that takes its place will pierce years of collected doubt like a laser through mist. A thorough overhaul is being performed on the chariot that has been stumbling along on 3 wheels and a donut. A tuned engine, for brand new tires, and the kind of momentum that not only takes you where you're going, but also gets you there early and with plenty of gasoline left over. At last, the infrastructure is aligning with the concept. And instead of fading away in a fleeting moment of manufactured success, the vision is poised to become an unstoppable reality that sustains itself. During trial and error, during times when nothing seemed to work, and during times when you questioned whether magic was real, you have learned the mechanics of manifestation the hard way. However, magic has always been, and you have been both its practitioner and pupil. Now, you are set to become its master instructor. Your dedication, your consistency when results seem impossible, and your trust when reason fails have all contributed to the construction of a robust container that can house miracles. The sky is gloomy, and justice is coming in like thunder. And you're going to be reminded of why that was a strategic mistake for everyone who has been counting you out. The folks who have been jealously observing your growth and waiting for you to fail so they can feel better about their own stagnation are going to experience a level of accomplishment that will make their doubts seem comically misguided and their criticisms seem insignificant. This is not only a personal breakthrough. For everyone who has ever been told that their aspirations, vision, or desires are too lofty, it's cosmic justice. Their permission slip is your achievement. Their proof is your elevation. They use your metamorphosis as evidence that the impossible is simply an unproven theory. Not only are you altering your own life, but you are also altering the course of events for all those who follow. The acknowledgement that is coming won't only come from admirers who are far away or strangers. It comes from others who have been undervaluing your abilities, treating your strengths like pastimes, and pretending that your accomplishment was adorable but unimportant. Their expressions of surprise upon realizing they have always been surrounded by quality will be nearly as fulfilling as the actual breakthrough. Your creativity has lain dormant, awaiting the ideal time, circumstance, and degree of readiness to come to fruition without destroying everything in its way. Innovations that appear out of nowhere but are actually the product of years of unconsciously prepared work combined with ideal timing are being produced by the artistic flow that is replacing analytical overthinking. The voice you've been honing, the message you've been crafting, the distinct viewpoint you've been establishing with each encounter. It's on the verge of discovering its audience, and that audience has been anticipating your words. People are beginning to notice how you communicate truth that cuts through misunderstanding and provides clarity when others merely provide more questions, and self-expression is becoming as easy as breathing. Being a leader is not something you get into lightly. You're making this claim with the assurance of someone who has merited their position, not through political scheming or inherited privilege, by continuously achieving excellence. Your genuineness will inspire others by demonstrating what may happen when authority is used wisely rather than merely for its own sake. Someone who has been quietly gaining real knowledge while they've been busy performing expertise they don't possess is going to educate the know-it-alls in your environment. It will be a mic drop moment that changes all of the relationships in your orbit and creates new hierarchies based on substance rather than volume when you finally stand up and show what true competence looks like. As you learn to discern between individuals who have been abusing your generosity and those who deserve access to your energy, trust is being restored in your life. Your growing insight is not cynicism. It's the application of wisdom. The capacity to distinguish healthy relationships from harmful ones before they have a chance to harm your recently boosted state. It won't be pleasant when some of the individuals in your life show their actual selves. The individuals who have been riding your coattails and doing nothing in return, the energy vampires, and the advantage takers will be so obvious that even your kind heart will have to let them go. However, This is liberation rather than loss, making room for connections that truly advance your best interests. Your device's accumulation of unread messages isn't an indication of rudeness. They are proof that someone has at last discovered how to put their personal energy management ahead of what other people think they should be doing. What's attempting to come out of you is taking up space because of the missed calls you're not answering, the group chats you've hushed, and the social commitments you're refusing. Your superpower now is boundaries. Additionally, it is entertaining to see individuals try to control someone who is no longer susceptible to manipulation. The guilt trips that were effective in the past are no longer effective. The emotional blackmail that used to set off your people-pleasing tendencies now appears to be unchanged. Manipulation by those who are unable of generating value for themselves. The last stanza of the toxic song and dance you've been witnessing from some of the individuals in your life is almost over. The strategies of manipulation have been getting old. The efficacy of guilt trips has been waning. The attempts to hold you accountable for the feelings of others. Everything is going to be exposed for what it truly is. Additionally, your response will establish new guidelines for what you will and won't put up with. Your most dreaded plans are going to be canceled. Additionally, the sense of relaxation you'll experience will serve as a reminder to you of the value of respecting your own preferences above continuously making accommodations for others. The events that forced you to present an unauthentic image of yourself, the societal responsibilities that have been depleting your energy, and the commitments that have never felt in line with your ideals. To create space for pursuits that truly nourish your soul, they are all dissolving. Your first reaction when the news hits, and it will hit like lightning splitting the sky, will be to check to see if anyone else is also experiencing this unthinkable situation. Your first reaction will be no chill, which is perfectly fitting for someone whose dreams are coming true at a rate that defies every timescale you believe to be realistic. The yelling, the leaping, the uncontrollable happiness that has been accumulating in your chest for years. Release it. Every sacrifice, every failure, and every night when you went to bed wondering if you were crazy for having such a great belief have all contributed to this moment. The emotional outburst won't be humiliating. It will serve as proof of a soul that has remained able to be amazed in spite of all the reasons to grow pessimistic. Justice comes as restoration rather than retaliation, as a prize for your perseverance rather than as a penalty for your adversaries. God multiplies what you release. Sow $20, $50, or $100 into holy voices and trust His increase. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 10. The balance is finally being restored, and the burden of all the injustice that has accumulated will soon be offset by blessings so great that the battle will appear to be preparation rather than persecution. Consequences that have been rising like pressure in a volcano are about to befall someone who has been abusing you without repercussions. Their perception of the universe will be drastically altered by the impending arrival of the accountability that has been absent from their lives. Retaliation is not karma. It's learning. Additionally, some individuals will soon obtain graduate degrees in the field. Your success has been the target of the evil eye. The envy that has been disguising itself as worry. The attempts to minimize your accomplishments by means of criticism or comparison. What is shielded by heavenly favor cannot be touched by any of it. You have your hater blockers at full power. And now, the negativity that formerly disturbed your tranquility simply bounces off of it like rain on glass. There is more to the upcoming breakthrough than money. Even so, the financial revolution will be significant enough to pay off debt and generate wealth for future generations. Although the accolades will legitimize every risk you've taken, it's not all about that. Although the relationships you make will mend wounds you were unaware you were still carrying, it's not simply about love. When you realize that everything, every hardship, every failure, every dark night of your soul has been precisely planned to bring you to this moment with precisely the right mix of abilities, knowledge, and character to handle what you're about to receive, that is the true climax. You will be in awe of the revelation of the divine wisdom that has been permeating every aspect of your story. The person you're about to become will be very different from your previous self, so prepare ready. Back to your former self. The sacrifices you made, the restrictions you accepted, and the smallness you put up with are all being shed like old skin that can no longer hold what you're turning into. It's not just an external change. It is fundamental, cellular, and energetic. Your current state of change goes beyond simple personal metamorphosis. For everyone who has been told that their goals are too lofty, their vision too expansive, or their aspirations too ambitious, it serves as proof of concept. Their permission slip is your achievement. Their proof is your discovery. Their motivation to avoid accepting less than they know they deserve comes from your elevation. I wonder what the question is that people ask after seeing what you're doing. When people witness what you're producing and feel what you're emitting. The mystery of how someone like you, who began with the same constraints, difficulties, and uncertainties, could do something so remarkable that it goes against their conception of what is feasible. Their riddle solution is easier than they think, but more difficult than they're prepared to admit. You made the decision to pursue your aspirations no matter the cost. Then you took whatever action was necessary. First, the decision. The plan was the second. And although while it seemed like it was taking longer than expected, the results are coming in precisely on time, following a timeline that was always flawless. When the universe fulfills the dreams you've had since you were a youngster, you should feel completely taken by surprise. There is no cruelty on the blind side. It is benevolent, keeping you from meddling in a process that is too intricate for conscious control, too strong for mental manipulation, and too ideal for human advancement. When it comes, don't be impolite. Don't downplay it. Avoid deflecting it. Don't say you're sorry. You have these blessings because you have been ready to earn them, not because you are superior to others. Your efforts, your personal development, and who you have become have all been laying the groundwork for this very moment, when your goals become true. This story starts with your face preparing for news that will change everything, and the shock of it all comes as full circle. You now realize, however, that the shock isn't arbitrary. It's the unavoidable outcome of forces that have been steadily gaining traction behind the scenes while you've been diligently working to develop the ability to receive miracles. The most stunning vindication of your little dog, that naive aspect of yourself that continues to believe in magic despite all the reasons to become cynical, is about to happen. The innocent faith you have upheld in the face of ridicule, disappointment, and evidence that you were gullible. You're going to receive an unimaginable prize for your faith. In reality, the conclusion is the beginning. And what you believe to be the end is actually just the beginning. The advantages and obligations that come with your upcoming degree from the University of Hard Knocks will change not only your life but also the lives of everyone you come into contact with going ahead. Because you have spent your entire life unconsciously preparing for this moment, the morning insight will come to you in a different way. You developed each skill with the belief that it was arbitrary. You thought every link you established was a coincidence. All of the information you acquired was assumed to be unrelated. All of them are pieces of a puzzle that are going to fit together perfectly. While you believed you were simply living your daily life, the universe was engaged in a game of chess. You will no longer wake up this evening as the person who questioned whether their dreams were worthwhile. A dramatic identity transformation occurs when you wake up tomorrow morning, making you feel like you met someone you've always known existed inside but never had permission to be when you look in the mirror. It won't be strange to see your own reflection. It will be familiar in the same way that returning home after a protracted trip through foreign lands feels familiar. When you realize that surreal is simply another name for what happens when reality finally catches up to vision, the phone calls that will begin to come in, the messages that will bombard your devices, and the opportunities that will present themselves with urgent timing will all seem unreal. You'll need to step into a version of yourself that you've been practicing for without even realizing it because of the conversations you'll have, the choices you'll have to make, and the doors that will swing open. Teach them how to do it becomes more than just a catchphrase. It turns into your default mode, your operating system, and your instinctive reaction to once dangerous circumstances. Because the resulting mastery has been growing beneath the surface, it won't feel unfamiliar. Awaiting events that would prompt it to proceed. People will inquire how you managed to handle success with such poise, failing to realize that grace under duress was developed over years of hardship without seeming to be compensated. On frequencies that attract opportunity as magnets attract metal, your energy signature is about to be broadcast. In ways that make decision-making easy rather than painful, the initiatives that will come your way, the partnerships that will offer themselves, and the investments that will become available will all be in line with your beliefs. When every decision advances your greatest development, choice turns into privilege. Speeches and presentations won't be necessary to demonstrate your abilities. It will occur by simple presence, the way issues resolve themselves around you, and the way discussions change when you share your viewpoint. Your power works subconsciously, bringing about changes that seem natural rather than artificial, organic rather than contrived. When your nervous system attempts to interpret information beyond its present training, it literally falls out of bed. Cellular recalibration will be necessary to process the physical feeling of hearing news that completely changes your perception of what is possible. Your heart may rush, your breath may catch, and your body may tremble. Not out of fear, but because of the thrill of expansion occurring at rates that are too fast for biology to handle. After the initial shock wears off, reality has a way of sinking into your bones with surprising ease, so the subsequent incredulity won't last long. Today's baseline is what seemed unattainable yesterday. And what seems remarkable today serves as the foundation for even bigger successes tomorrow. When you've been subconsciously preparing for elevation your entire life, adaptation occurs more quickly than you might have thought. You won't use violence or force to show your dominance. It will be demonstrated by the peaceful assurance of someone who at last recognizes their value and won't compromise it to appease others. The moment you fall out of bed signifies the close of one chapter in your life and the start of something never seen before. All earlier innovations will be insignificant in contrast. It's not that they weren't important, rather, this one is the result of all the other growth experiences coming together to create a single, life-changing event. It will take some time for your face to get used to wearing displays of real confidence rather than fake competence, real power rather than practiced strength, and genuine satisfaction rather than fake contentment. Your facial muscles will really need to acquire new postures, new configurations, and new ways of portraying an inner state that has changed from wanting to possessing, from hoping to knowing, and from seeking to possessing. Take them by the reins. Since the information comes from the same source that has been directing your preparation all along, there is no need for an instruction manual. The accurate, smart hits that have been surprising you. The epiphany that comes without rational justification. The assurance that comes from deeper sources than the mind. These turn into your guide to a reality that follows different laws than the one you're leaving behind. When your subconscious mind finally receives proof that conscious wants are real and not just fantasies, your sleep patterns will change, and the bed you fall out of will never feel the same. Instead of serving as escape routes, dreams turn into planning sessions. Instead of retreating from impossibility, rest becomes a means of restoring action. The morning turns from resignation to anticipation. Everyone in your orbit is impacted by your demonstration without your knowledge. Changes that are difficult to describe will be noticed by family members. Friends will notice changes they are unable to describe. Co-workers will notice variations that they are unable to classify. The preparedness you've been developing through every failure, every disappointment, and every time you questioned whether you were hallucinating. This preparedness is about to be verified in ways that present every uncertainty as a necessary prelude rather than a precise evaluation. Discrimination was taught by doubt. Preparation was taught by fear. Adaptability was taught by uncertainty. It takes more than just emotional preparation to make your face ready. It denotes a change in the body that mirrors changes within. Light will alter how it strikes your features. Your eyes will become more focused. Your smile will become more profound. Before they realize what they're seeing, people will notice something different. Attracted to alterations that function under the level of conscious awareness. The start of realizing. It will be nearly as overwhelming as the breakthrough itself to discover how many people have been following your journey, anticipating your breakthrough, and believing in your potential even when you couldn't. Your $30 gift through Super Thanks is not just support, it's prophecy. You are speaking into your own future harvest. You will be reminded that isolation was a myth by the support system that shows up, the advocates who have been working in the background, and the champions who show up out of nowhere. Since true demonstration involves no performance, pretense, or artificial exaggeration of pre-existing talents, showing them how it's done becomes straightforward. Because it has been growing beneath conscious awareness, waiting for situations that would bring it into expression rather than suppression, the mastery that emerges feels natural. The final time surprise overwhelms your nervous system in a way that seems more like destabilization than excitement, it will be when you tumble out of bed. Your ability to receive positive news will grow to match the size of what is trying to pass through your experience, making it easier to take shocks in the future. Others who have been observing your journey and questioning whether their own goals are attainable can use your example as a model. Others are given permission to stop playing small and start playing for keeps because of the proof of concept you offer, the evidence you represent, and the possibilities you represent. Your preparedness goes beyond personal preparation to include cosmic timing that synchronizes individual breakthrough with group need. The world needs examples of what is possible, and what you are about to accomplish, what you are about to become, and what you are about to demonstrate are all coming at the right time. Your face will display expressions that represent inner states that most people never experience when you refuse to accept restriction as a permanent condition. The appearance of someone who appreciates their value without being conceited, who knows their power without being corrupt, and who understands their mission without being conceited. These statements will have a magnetic quality that attracts opportunities rather than necessitates their pursuit. Your breakthrough will cause a shock wave that spreads beyond your immediate circle to people you've never met but who needed proof that change is possible. That dreams are possible. The benefits of that perseverance are more than any logical calculation could foretell. Their hope is shaped by your achievement. Their encouragement comes from your elevation. Their notion that the impossible is negotiable is a result of your breakthrough. The message that follows is intended only for the selected. This is not for you if you are under the influence of archonic forces. And we give you permission to leave based on the spiritual authority that the Holy Voice's Inner Order's secret chiefs have given us. If not, take a seat and pay close attention. Because just as we are redeemed, you will also be redeemed. There is no program for the Holy Voice's Inner Order. It's not a class. It's not a spiritual retreat that makes you feel good. Answers are not what we sell. Together, we recall. We teach interference, implants, genuine energetic shielding against beings, and psychic self-defense. We bring manifestation back to its original state. Raw, instantaneous, and precise. We meet in secret once a week to awaken and speak what cannot be uttered elsewhere, not to worship. To gradually deprogram the matrix. If you're supposed to be there, you'll know it. Your bones will sense it. The selected group meets via Zoom once a week. Why don't you join us already? Go to sis. Join the Inner Order of Holy Voices. The description contains a link. Take them by the reins. Continues past this initial realization to provide a consistent example of what is feasible. Teaching occurs through being when a person is completely in tune with their true power and refuses to tame it for the sake of others. Presence is the conduit for the influence. It is not explanation that spreads the impact, but example. Because the energy you bring to rooms has fundamentally changed from seeking to sourcing, from requiring to providing, and from lacking to overflowing, your bed, room, and complete living environment will feel different. The consciousness that resides within an environment causes it to react. Additionally, your heightened awareness will change every area you occupy to better reflect who you are becoming into. The face you're preparing must learn to accept praise without shame, acknowledgement without discomfort, and accolades without deflecting. It will take time for the muscle memory of smallness to be rewired into patterns that accept largeness, embrace growth, and welcome attention rather than run away from it. Prepare your face, selected one. It's yours, and the shock of it all is lovely. Beloved soul, if this message has spoken to your heart, don't let it end here. Click that like button so the light can spread to more people who need hope. Subscribe to Holy Voices so you never miss the next word heaven has for you. And leave a comment below. I read every one, and I pray over them. Remember, faith grows when we share it, so share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Until we meet again, may God's peace cover you and His voice guide your every step.